live in the bush, off-grid. I live off-grid in the Ngāhere on Lake Taupo. If you've never been here before, there's nothing here. It's literally just trees. There's no power, everything's solar, no washing machine, you've got to do everything by hand. Everything that you consume is foraged, picked from the earth. I have really sensitive skin myself. Finding things that was going to work for my skin, you have to know someone or you have to go to a special supermarket, and then it costs so much money. So I started to source from Papatūānuku and make my own. And it was cheaper and it was better, and I thought, God, I have the most sensitive skin. If it's going to work for me, it's going to work for, you know, my cousin or my brother or my sister who's got eczema or etc, etc, etc. And so I started giving it out. So that's how Kohatrade kind of came about. I knew that what I had, all my ideas were beautiful. I just wasn't too confident in how I was going to be able to articulate that into a business, especially being Māori as well. I was going down to Dunedin and I had gifted one of my art pieces to my cousin, and the lady who had visited her at that time knew Heidi and knew of the Mana Rangatahi program, and she suggested that I go to the course.
It's kind of, I'd call it one of those typical meeting Heidi moments. When Mokoia first came in, she'd mentioned to me about the mahi and the work that she was wanting to do, her start-up business. Hey, listen, we're running this Mana Rangatahi program tomorrow night. Do you want to come? And she looked a little bit anxious, I think, at the thought, but went, yeah, okay, I'll turn up tomorrow night.
So when you're coming from nothing, and you're a Māori yourself and you want to get into business, that's already very nerve-wracking. So when I stepped into INNOV8HQ and found out that the owners were Māori, I was like, oh, what? You know, it gives you that confidence, like, oh, they can do it, I can do it, you know what I mean?
Mana Rangatahi is a program that we developed in partnership with Startup Dunedin and Ministry of Youth Development. The whole philosophy behind Mana Rangatahi is to inspire our rangatahi into pathways of entrepreneurship, employment, further training and education, and leadership.
The course is awesome. You go in there, they help you really get into all the nuts and bolts of what your idea is and how you're going to execute that, what does that look like, what does that feel like. A lot of it was mind-blowing. You know, there was things in there I didn't even know I had to do. They teach you about all the behind-the-scenes things, you know, like accounting and all the logistics side of it, figuring out a price for your product, because, you know, when you have an idea, you're having so much fun creating the idea, you don't really look at all the other stuff that you have to do. I
just love the work that she's doing, love the business that she's running, homegrown medicines. Rongoa Māori wellbeing products straight off the whenua, so it is organically produced. You know, and she puts love into it. There's an aroha in the ingredient.
I love going out and picking all the kawakawas and looking at all the different plants and being like, oh, that's such and such and that's such and such and that's good for this and that's good for that. Doing research, adding to my kete of knowledge. I love the feeling of just being surrounded by abundance of rongoa.
You know, from someone that was a bit whakamā, bit shy about being involved in something like this, and now to just getting on with it and being a mana wahine. One thing I love about applying mātauranga Māori as a foundation for how we do stuff, it gives us a basis for having values at the centrepiece of everything that we do, and a foundation for how we are creating better individuals and better businesses and better employees.
Heidi, you know, she always told me that actually being Māori is a huge selling point just on its own. You know, something that I thought was a negative ended up being something that was a positive. So I thought that was really cool and really, really beautiful. I'm selling out before they even get bottled. And I don't think I would have started my business if I didn't do the course. I really don't. You go in there with a beautiful idea, not knowing anyone, not knowing anything, and you walk out with a fully operating business that's standing, and you have a family.